is Edward Ottenheimer, and my TED Talk today is about happiness being achievable. It's something that we all spend our whole lives looking for from the time we're a small child, that we want sweets and we want candy, and playing with our friends and hanging out with family is what makes us happy. Up until we're old and dying, we just want to be with our grandchildren. And so my TED Talk today is about how we can do that. I'll just give you a visual representation for you. This is it. This is happiness right there. That's it. People will tell you it's not. That's it right there. It's a chemical. It's a feeling. It's a chemical. It's an emotion we have, and somehow it doesn't get triggered, like ever, for most people. Most people today are depressed, and I don't think we need a study or statistic to tell us that. You walk down the street and you will see 1,000 unhappy people. I guarantee you, go to LA, sit in traffic. You are more than likely to get flipped off or yelled at. But why is everyone unhappy? We're constantly unhappy. We're constantly doing things that make us unhappy. And I think the answer to that is a little bit more complex than, a little bit more simple and a little bit more complex than I think we appreciate. And here you go, here it is. This is the proof that everyone's unhappy. 19% of all male athletes will develop an eating disorder by the time they're done with playing sports in high school, and 45% of all female athletes will also develop an eating disorder. Depression is huge in schools right now. Kids are depressed, people are depressed, as I just said, and the leading cause is academic pressure. We're pushing our kids so hard that they're becoming depressed, and it's our school's job to fix that, but it's not happening. And everyone looks at Mr. Smith. And mental disorders. Social media is a huge push on this. Researchers in public policy have discovered that if you give an ordinary Joe, an average Joe, anyone, just take a random teenager off the street, you give them social media, give them Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, whatever you want, within 6 months, they're significantly more likely to develop a mental disorder. Even if they didn't have one before, you could take the most sane person who's never had any trauma. Within 6 months, their chances of developing a mental disorder skyrockets, absolutely through the roof. So why is this? What do all these three things have in common? I'll tell you what, it's comparisons. With all of these things, we're comparing ourselves, something else, to something else. When we look at people, when we look at professional athletes, the question is, who's the best? Who's better? You grab the rebound, why didn't he? You go play in a basketball game, who's the better shooter? You need to know. It feels imperative because society has told us that it is imperative to know who's better and who's worse. And people will end up like that, trying to be better, not eating because they want to be thinner. We're causing our kids to go through these different mental disorders, and especially in schools, it's the same thing. Why does he get a A on his project and you only got a B? It should be celebrated that you got a B. Everyone's working really hard. I'm doing this and I don't really want to, but I'm being pressured to because I want an A, right? Social media is, I know we've all heard it. You go on Instagram, it's the perfect place. You look at everyone's lives and they're all going to the beach and they're all happy. But that's just not true. And it's not true because we look at our own lives and we're like, why are they out at a party while I'm sitting at home on my couch watching them at a party? I'm not at a party. And here's a list of all the ways that we, the breakdowns, the comparisons. Comparison is right here. And everything else that follows are all the negative side effects we see. Now, it's not to say that people have mental and chemical imbalances in their brains, and they have traumas and things that comparisons aren't always the answer. Some people really do need serious help, and they need medication or therapy. So stopping yourself from comparing isn't always the answer. But you will end up sad, and from that sadness, you can feel loneliness and paranoia and a lack of trust. If you go down the anxiety route, you have body dysmorphia and eating disorders, as I just mentioned. There's so many things that stem from this one simple thing we do every single day. Every single day we're alive, we do this right here. I know I've done it. I've done it countless times. I do it every day still. I wake up and I'm like, wow, I bet there's someone happier. I moved from Oregon down here, and the first thing I asked myself was, will this be better? Is this gonna be better? And there's no way for me to tell whether school is better down here than in Oregon without me comparing. I found myself spiraling into a really, really sad, depressive state, and I had no idea. I was talking to my therapist. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. Genuinely, I'm lost. I should be happy. I'm not living under a bridge. I'm not homeless. I have food. I have a mom who loves me. I have a dad who loves me. There are people around me. I have friends. Like, what's going on? She said, okay, you need medication. I tried medication, didn't work. I was like, this is just stupid. This is, what is going on? So I talked to a homeless guy. I'm not kidding, it's a true story. I was walking my dog, and this homeless guy approached me. Said, hey, and we went on this whole conversation. I asked him how his day was. He was starting to tell me all these things, and then at one point he said, you know, I'm having a good day. And I was like, why? You said you were having a bad day earlier. He said, well, I just saw someone overdose on heroin. And I said, wow, is he okay? Like, should I call an ambulance? Like, he said, no, he's definitely dead. He said, I called an ambulance already. I said, oh my God, like, is he gonna be okay? He said, no, probably not, but I'm not him. And I was like, isn't that traumatizing for you? He said, of course, all sorts of things happen that are traumatizing to us, but I'm not him. And he just kept saying that. I'm like, how are you not like losing it right now? You just saw someone die from drugs. Like, this is a big deal. And he's like, I'm not dead. I wasn't that guy who got addicted to heroin, took too much, and died. And I said, okay. And I went home, and I was just kind of in like a panic state, and I was freaking out, and I told my mom. She's like, okay. She didn't really see the issue with it. But I was really freaking out, because what that guy had just told me was what I'm here talking about today. He was comparing himself to the guy who just overdosed on heroin and saying, at least I'm not there. I may be homeless. I may not have anywhere to sleep tonight. I may have all my stuff in a freaking garbage can. Like, I may have a trash bag full of my stuff, but I'm not him. And I realized that was my issue. It wasn't medication. It wasn't people. It wasn't other people. It was me comparing myself to while I was watching everyone else go to this school, go to those parties, have fun, be kind to each other. I'm like, why am I not able to achieve this? And that was the answer. So that's what I want to leave you all with today, is that when you find yourself feeling sad, ask yourself, what am I comparing myself to? Am I watching how that guy has a girlfriend and I don't? Am I comparing myself to, wow, they look like they're having fun, where are my friends? And you will find that if you are just okay with who you are and say, no, it's okay if I don't have any friends right now because I know that there are people who love me. I'll be okay, I'll survive this, and move on, you will be infinitely happier, and that's what I've experienced.